Good morning, students. In previous video session, we have discussed the second unit, last topic, which is uniform circular motion, non-uniform circular motion, and centripetal acceleration. After I told you to do some of the homework I gave from the book back questions. I believe you all did your homework. It is good for you. Now, we are going to a new topic, a new unit, laws of motion. Unit 3, laws of motion. In this unit, we will study many laws which are given by various physicists or scientists. In this, people from oldest century, they're always curious about the things, how the things move, or why the things move. Like these old questions arised in human mind. We know that there is an interaction between the human and the species and the nature. Species interact with nature, human interact with nature, but during all this interaction, human always thinking and he always want many answers for his questions. That's what humans started to think. How things move, why things move, like these all questions arised from their mind now, and in the modern civilization, 21st century, they made an answer for all his questions scientifically. In this, if I am saying 2500 years ago, Aristotle said he said forces cause motion. What he said forces causes motion. It means you are applying a force on a body. It is a reason why the object is moving. If I am saying an example, you see this duster, it is in my hand, it is staying at rest. This duster is staying at rest over this book. I am keeping this book, that is what? If I am keeping this book is at rest, until I apply a force on this book, it is continuing to stay at rest. So that is what Aristotle said. If you are applying a force on this object, it will start to move. Forces cause motion. That's what. So the thing is, if you are applying a force means what? Push or pull. If you are pulling or pushing this book, it will move. That is what Aristotle said. But he didn't prove that, he just said from his common sense. He didn't prove it, he just said in 2500 years ago, Aristotle said forces causes motion. He just said all these things from his common sense. Later, in 15th century, Galileo, another scientist, he challenged this Aristotle idea. He said that it is not possible, it is not possible. Aristotle was said from his common sense. Now the Galileo, he was trying to prove from some experiment. So in 15th century, Aristotle idea was challenged by this Galileo, and he made an England plane. First he made an England plane by using rough surface. Then he started to drop a ball from this England plane, and this surface is rough. When he told when he dropped the ball from this inclined plane, what happened means it reaches the bottom of this inclined plane, again it is traveled some distance, then up to here, little more, it traveled in that inclined plane also. Now what he did means, he used smooth surface on that inclined plane. Now he dropped the ball from same height, but he got a result. What result he got? On the another inclined plane, the ball reaches the same height as he dropped. So see the difference. First he used a rough surface. The ball was dropped from some height, but what happened to the ball? It reaches some height on another inclined plane, but now he used a smooth surface. The ball reaches the same height as he dropped on the another inclined plane also. Now what happened means he used one inclined plane, which is what? Which is he reduced the height of second inclined plane. Now what he observed? He dropped the ball from this height. Now it traveled long distance. Now it traveled long distance. This is what third thing he did. He reduced the height of the inclined plane. At last, what he did? He just removed the inclined plane and he dropped the ball. So what happened? The ball goes horizontally. The ball goes horizontally, infinitely it goes. This is what Galileo demonstrated what Aristotle said was wrong. He was trying to prove what Aristotle said was wrong. So, Galileo demonstrated all these things by using some small experiment. Now, Newton, Sir Isaac Newton, in his view, from his idea, what Galileo said, what Aristotle said, all these scientists, all the ideas was proven by what? Newton. And Newton made some laws with the help of Kepler and Copernicus. Newton made some law about what Aristotle said was correct. Aristotle said forces causes motion. The Newton, in his first law, he said what Aristotle said was correct. Here, we all know Newton's first law. What is Newton's first law? What is Newton's first law? Every object continues in its state of rest of uniform motion until there is an external force applied on the object. For example, what Newton said, Aristotle said the forces causes motion. If a book is there, it will not move until the force is applied. That is what Newton proved and made a law. He said every object continue in its state of rest of uniform motion. You see, book is here. It will continue to stay at rest. Until when? Until when an external force applied on it. So, until I am applying a force, then only the book can move. This is what Aristotle said before. Now, Newton gave first law. That is what he proved. Every object continues to stay at rest or uniform motion until there is an external force applied on it. That is what Newton said in his first law. You can see in page number 106, Newton's first law. Newton's proposed 3 laws: first law, second law, third law. It is very important laws you have to learn. In this first law, page number 106, you can see our object continues to stay at rest or in its uniform motion until what? An external force applied on it. You can see page number 106. And he made a concept which is called inertia. Inertia. And what he is saying means this object is staying at a rest. It is due to inertia. It is due to inertia. Inertia means what? Inertia means the inability of the object to change its state. The object is staying at rest because what property? Inertia property. Inertia means the inability, not the ability, the inability of this object to change its state. That is what inertia. Any object which is in its state of rest, any object which is moving, it has an inability to change its state. That is what he gave 4 ideas: inertia of rest, inertia of motion, inertia of direction. 3 ideas. First one is inertia of rest. Assume that you all are sitting in a bus. You are sitting in a bus. The bus is stopped. You are going, you got a seat and you are sitting in the bus. Suddenly the bus driver came and he started the bus. What will happen to you? What will happen to you? What will happen to you? Your body will move, just your body will push backward. This is what he said, Newton has said. Inertia of rest. Because the inability of your body to change its state from rest to motion. Because you are sitting at rest. You are sitting at rest in the bus driver started the bus, but your body is not have the ability to change that moving state. Because that is what inertia of rest. So you can mark it down, page number 107. The inability of an object to change its state of rest is called inertia of rest. Mark that. Then the second one is inertia of motion. For this, the best example, I think everyone had the experience of this. Everyone had the experience of traveling in a bus. When you are standing and traveling or sitting and traveling in the bus, suppose the driver goes very high speed, suddenly he applied brake. When he applies sudden brake, we all learn that those who are sitting or those who are standing, they will just move forward like this. Isn't it? Isn't it? Are you experienced of this? Yes, when you are sitting in the bus, maybe you are sleeping, maybe you are thinking some other thing, maybe you are standing. But the bus is moving, suddenly when the driver applied the brake, your body will push forward. That is what inertia of motion. Because the inability of your body to change its state of uniform motion from rest. The inability of your body to change its state of uniform motion from its own. We are moving, but what it is an inability. That is what inertia of motion, inability of our body, to change its state of what? Uniform motion. The last one is inertia of direction. You can tell this example. Before I told, we all have this game on when we are small. What are? Just we are taking a rope, tying a stone and rotating. We can see it is rotating in what? A circular motion. Why? What will happen suddenly when this rope cuts? What will happen? You are rotating that rope with a stone very fast. Suddenly the rope gets cuts. When the rope gets cuts, what will happen? The stone will move straight direction. Suppose you are rotating like this. When it reaches this, it will go like this, straight direction. Why again it is not continuing, the stone is not continuing to rotate? What are? In circular motion. This is what we are saying, the inability of the body to change from its state, what are? To change its direction. That is what the inertia of direction, the inability of an object to change its motion, direction of motion on its own. So you can see these three definition and example, page number 107. It is the explanation for Newton's first law. So what is Newton's first law? Every object, page number 106, you can see every object continues its state of rest of uniform motion unless there is an external force applied on it. In that, what is meant by inertia? Inertia means what? The inability of a body to change its state of rest of uniform motion. The inability of a body to change its state of rest of its uniform motion. In that, okay, is inertia of rest, inertia of motion, inertia of direction. You have to study this, go through the example and the definition. Inertia of rest means what? The inability of a body to change in its state of rest by its own. It is called inertia of rest. Inertia of motion means what? The inability of a body to change its state of rest of its uniform motion by its own. It is for inertia of motion, and inertia of direction means what? The inability of the body to change its state of uniform, changes state of direction. Yeah, direction of motion on its own. It is called the inability, inertia of direction. So mark this page number. It is there in the page number 107. Now Newton's second law. Newton's second law. Next it is given about inertial frame. You have already studied about the frame of reference in second unit. You can just go through that. Now Newton's second law. Newton's second law, what is it? The force acting on the object is equal to the rate of change of its momentum. F is equal to dP by dt. That is what the force acting on the object is equal to its rate of change of its momentum. That is what he said. From this, you know, this momentum P is equal to mv. So substitute this mv here. So F is equal to m. I'll show you here. So P is equal to mv. Substitute this in equation 1. This you keep equation 1. So F is equal to d of mv by dt. This you can write what? This you can write F is equal to m. You can take it outside dv by dt. This dv by dt means linear acceleration. So F is equal to ma. This is Newton's second law. It is very important 3-mark question. In previous exam, it is asked, you have to write the definition first, law first, then you have to prove this. First, what are the force which is acting on body is object. The force on the object is equal to what? The force of the object is equal to its rate of change of its momentum. F is equal to dp by dt. P means momentum. P is equal to mv. Substitute here. So take this m outside. M into dv by dt. So F is equal to ma. In this law, Newton's second law, he explains what? That is what? He explains what? In this law, he is explaining F is equal to ma. That means, if you are applying the force on a heavy body, the acceleration will be less. Suppose, that is what? Suppose a heavy body person and a slim body person which is running. So, how much force is applied by the heavy body person and the same slim body person? For example, some 200 Newton force is applied by them. But who will win? The slim body person. Because what? Because his mass is less. Mass is less, his force is what? They applied the same force because his mass is less, that's what he got first prize. And he said what? Force is what? If the mass is high, force applied on the body is what? Less. High. And you have to apply heavy force on the body. It is what? And F is equal to ma, acceleration. You are applying more force, more acceleration. That is what he proved from his second law. Even he applied more force, more acceleration. That is what you can see in the cricket and all. Fast bowlers, they apply what? More force. So what? The acceleration is more. That is what the difference. Then there is a. This is what? Force unit is what? Newton. So the same unit of force is Newton. And 1 Newton means what? 1 Newton is defined as a force which is acting on 1 kilogram of mass to given an acceleration of 1 meter per second. You can see in the page number 109. 1 Newton is defined as the force which acts on 1 kilogram of mass to give an acceleration of 1 meter per second square in the direction of force. Based on this, F is equal to ma. Now, here again there is a part Aristotle versus Newton's approach. We can just go through that. As per Aristotle said the forces cause what? Motion. Forces cause motion. But in that Galileo's approach, last diagram, in this diagram what is happened? The ball moves horizontally. This in all other case, balls moves and it stops. Why the ball stops? It moves until this height, again it will come here, but the ball velocity becomes zero. How it becomes zero? There Aristotle said was correct because of the frictional force. That is what Newton proved by using his second law. Because of the frictional force acting on here. In Galileo's first approach, rough surface, more frictional force is there. That's what it stops very fast. Second diagram, Galileo's approach, Galileo's second diagram, what it proved? Smooth surface, it moved more distance because what frictional force is less there. So what Aristotle said was what correct. That is what Aristotle from his common sense he said. But Newton's what proving these all things. That is what this Aristotle versus Newton approach. You can just go through that. Here important thing is Newton's second law and this derivation. Okay. Now Newton's third law. We all are very much excited to hear the Newton's third law because from our smaller grade we are studying. We always remember that every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. That is what Newton's proved from his third law. Some discussions also there based on this Newton's law. Then we will discuss in next class. Now Newton's third law, every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. For example, you can see in page number 110 three diagrams. First diagram, hammer is striking on the nail. When this hammer strikes on the nail, we feel there is an opposite force also. There is an opposite force we will feel. When we strike up, we are striking downward, but from the nail we will feel what? On upward force. That is what Newton said. Every action, I am striking, that is action. The nail, that is reacting back. There is an upward force from the nail. That is what reaction. So every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. That is what Newton's third law. Another example, you are throwing a ball on the wall. You are throwing a ball on the wall. That is action. Reaction is what? It is striking on the wall and it is coming back. Like this, many examples you can say. Boxers. They practice. When they practice what? You have seen in many places. No? So this whole thing you can see in our daily life example. Walking. When we are walking or when we are running, it is happening because of the upward from the earth. Our hand push downward, our leg push downward and the ground pushes upward. That's what we can That is what every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. Another good example you can say the gunfighters. You can see the policeman's long gun. They always hold their gun in this position because when they fire, the gun recoil and it move backward. If they hold like this, the gun hit. What will happen? The gun will break their chest. That's what they hold their gun in this position. Every action when they fire a bullet, it is the action. It is recoiling back and it is striking like this. That is the reaction. So every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. So it is very, very important, my dear students. You have to learn these three laws. In that second law, it is very, very important. The 3-mark question. Second law with what? This derivation. And third law, it is very, very important, 2-mark question. Every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. Now today's homework is page number 106, Newton's first law of motion. You have to write in notebook and inertia of motion, inertia of rest, inertia of direction. This all definition you have to learn and you have to write. Then Newton's second law with this derivation you have to note down it. It is very, very important. Then Newton's third law. Practice in home. We will see you with the discussion on Newton's law on tomorrow's session. Bye bye. Thank you all.